Hi, everybody. Rod Duff with Insights and Straight Talk once again. Just wanted to come on for a couple of quick minutes here. The reason being is, well, first of all, Merry Christmas, everybody. It's a couple more days away, but I think, what is it? Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, but I'm sure I'll talk to you again at least before the New Year's. But back to my point, I wanted to come on today because um, yeah, the honeymoon hasn't even started. In other words, by the way, let me step back. As you know, we talk about all things um, concerning, and that are interesting for the great middle class. That's our objective. That's our intent. That's our um, that's our mission. So I sell equipment for a living, um, uh, specifically into the injection molding, the extrusion, and the blow molding industries. And it's so I know what it's like to struggle, and I know what it's like to build a company. I know what it's like to fail. Uh, all these things are part of the human experience, right? The human uh, American way. At least most people, or at least a lot of people. So my question or my comment is, um, already the media. We've had a bad economic time, and I'm struggling myself. I'm working hard, but but having trouble, making getting to that next step. And it sucks when you have to live day by day, and check by check, which, although I'm self-employed, uh, that's what it is, right? So I only get paid when something happens. So there's time involved in all that. But with that said, I am, I like I've said before, I voted for Trump, and I get why more than half the American voters did vote for Trump. Now, we're as we talked about before, we're still a 50-50 nation. So I think at some point we can get to a 75-25 nation, because our media is what splits us apart, and puts us in little boxes. And you've heard before, you've heard me say, and I'm sure you've heard it at other places a million times, but the government is constantly wanting to divide and conquer. Um, and so what happened? I have a friend out in California. She's a writer. She's an author. Her name's Denise. She's got a book out. Shoot, I'm going blank on it right now. I'll send it to you later, maybe. But she has this concern, and I see what's happening in the media already. So, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, we've got probably the best, most talented um, cabinet that I've seen in forever, or at least that I've been paying attention to. So I see that, and then I listen to the media come back and start, um, before we've even gotten into the office. You know, um, Elon is doing the Doge thing. So, of course, this new bill that was going through, he had interest in, because we're trying to cut costs. We're trying to get past the typical BS that happens every election cycle, and every year, really, with the funding of the government. It's ridiculous. We only have temporary passes for that. Um, Hold on, let me go over here to comments. Okay. Yeah, and comment if you guys would, any questions that you have. Um, so going back to my point, I can already see the media. I'm missing a light here. That's probably a little better. I'm already seeing the media play the games. My friend out in California, Denise, she's concerned, that well, first of all, she's not a Trump fan. She's a very, she's in that Hollywood, California group, of people that really, really feel strongly that that our current administration was on the right path and doing the right things. And that's what frustrates me, because if you only listen to MSNBC, who's getting different now, I think they're being sold. So I think they're backing off some of their exaggerated craziness. But the CNN and ABC and NBC, those media stations are dynamically. It's not as bad as it was Trump's last time, but dynamically they're feeding their viewers, for your perspective odds, depth in a complex topic. There. So I'll send that one out to you during this festive season. Thank you very much. So during this time, these news stations are dramatically sending messages, negative messages about what's coming on, what's coming up, and who's going to be leading the country moving forward. And when Biden's administration came on, I was a little nervous, but I mean, I supported what it was that he was doing, because I'm an American. I'm an American citizen. I want our presidents to succeed. I want our government to succeed. I've always said, if you have a healthy middle class, you have a strong government. And the reverse is true as well. If you have a populace that is looking for their leadership to be successful, then you've got a good thing going. You got a good thing going. I want to. There's only a couple people that are starting to realize that they're there for serving us. So there's still so many people that are about the party and not the people, and not the country. Country first. I mean, it has to be that way. That's why there are countries, right? And that's why people live where they live, and they grow and develop under the guidance or the umbrella of the great their political parties. I give you an example of what should be going on. Peterman, the Democratic senator from Pennsylvania. If you don't know him, you might remember when he was running for office, he had a stroke and almost didn't get into office. The media was really pounding on that. And finally he said, look, and I can verify this because I had a stroke about 6 months ago, and I'm back. But Peterman said, if you're not rooting for your president, you're not rooting for America. We have 300, I forget the numbers now, but it's like almost 400 million people in this country. And so many of those people have needs. And I mean, not even, I talk about the utopia, and we'll talk about that more and more, because I think Doge is opening the door to that. So if Peterman said those things, and he said, when the cabinet comes and they get interviewed by the senators to be accepted or not accepted in moving forward, he said that he's going to address each candidate. He's going to learn more about what they're doing, and he's going to make a decision on some he'll vote yes on and some he'll vote no on. But it's not because they're Republicans and not Democrats. It's because he wants the best for this country. He's rooting for the success of the United States of America. And honestly, I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I'm disappointed that so many in our electoral body uh, strictly do this for power. I mean, it's obvious power and money um, and shenanigans. There's, I remember, like, even when Reagan was around, um, I'm going to try and post these as they come along. Even as when Reagan was around, or even before that, there was a Democratic Party and a Republican Party and other minor parties, and they 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 viewed they they both parties have always had the same goal, pretty much, as far as I know, and in the difference between the parties was one had a vision of going to that goal, that endpoint, one direction, and the other a different direction, and small little priorities that one legislative body or the other could bring in, as voted by the American people. And here's the thing: if you'll notice, I think right now we're still a 50-50 country, because as one administration comes in and affects the populace and affects the laws, um, let me take that off. Takes the regulations and the things and the school system and people's needs, and and the people actually understand if what you're doing isn't working. The downfall is that people just vote either Democratic or Republican. It's a team, right? The Democratic team, it won this one, they won that argument. Even in this last funding the government, they talked about a political win. I don't know anybody outside of the politicians. I don't know anybody who um, who cares if the Democrat Party or the Republican Party won on this. It's almost like it's a football team. They're just making their maneuvers and their plans to hold on and or to gain power, keeping the needs of the American people secondary to that always. And that goes for both sides of the party. Why I'm bringing this on is because I see it already, and he hasn't even taken office yet, but I see it already. And if Kamala would have won, I'd support her. I didn't vote for her this time. I'm sorry. I voted for Trump this time, but I did vote on a split ticket because it's not the party that's important. And we've got to take that narrative back. Um, over the last 10 years, or maybe a little bit longer, as I said, even during the Reagan and before, Democrats and Republicans were for the people. And I think we can make it happen this way. And then as the people feel the effects of those strategies or those policies, they then decide if the other candidate in this next election would do better for the needs that are for now. So we need a three-party system, to be honest with you. The retiring senator, independent from West Virginia, going blank on his name right now, but I saw an interview with him on CNN, and they were talking about him retiring, he's stepping down and going to go off and into sweet retirement and all the things that come with that. But he says that, and I agreed. He wants to have, he will support a third party called the American Party, which is the middle. I mean, most people are in the middle. Republican, independent, leans a little left towards the middle. Uh, the Democrats lean a little right to the middle, and that's where most people are. That's why I say we should really start getting to votes that are, 75, 25%, you win the election by. Right now, it's like by 1 or 2 points. And it really shows how divided the government has kept us through all this time. And it's really bad, because we each time make it harder on ourselves to succeed in the next generation, because this is the first generation that's not going to be more wealthy or have more assets than their parents did. I mean, that's horrible. That's a declining middle class, right? That's not a healthy middle class. The things I want to stress is that it's time for us to talk about, like my friend in California, Denise, for God, she just sent it out, and I see it all the time, but for honor or something like that. Anyway, she is diehard lefty, and I'm a strong independent that leans a little right. And then on social issues, I lean a little left. But again, back to the center. And right now, the center isn't getting credit for holding this country together, because it's the extremists that are getting all the play, the airtime. It's it's those that are on the far right or the far left that get into the news media, and then the media takes a story and manipulates it. There was even one instance, I think on 2020 it was, when Kamala was being interviewed and she gave an answer to something, and they actually in the editing of that, the question was asked and she gave an answer, but they cut that answer out and they put a completely different answer to a different question in, because it sounded better. That's disgusting. I mean, that's horrible. That's what our news media is all about. In the old days, I'm saying this because Denise listens to only certain channels, and I get why she fears Trump, and now she's saying that that she's concerned that Elon Musk is the new president and Trump's the vice president, which is ridiculous. And you have people claiming that the cabinet's going to blow up and all sorts of stuff's going to happen, and they don't know that. They are just imposing that view upon us as though it is fact. And that's what the media does. They constantly say a narrative one way or the other, and they say that narrative as though it's fact until it becomes, in people's mind, fact. That's why I listen to all the different news medias, and most of them are liberal. There's a couple conservative channels out there, but most of them are very liberal, and I get it. People want to feel good about what they accomplish and do in this world, and we all want to be kind-hearted people, but there's a point where you're being fooled about what the objective of an administration is at times. I support Trump. I'm concerned that over time they'll be as powerful as the Democratic Party has been over the last, I don't know, a couple of decades, short of an election here or there. But I'm concerned that they would grow and become as corrupt as our, and honestly, I'm sorry, but our Democratic Party is corrupt. Is our Republican Party corrupt? Certainly in ways and measures they are. I don't believe that there's many politicians in our government today who are doing their service to the people. You know, our Constitution was written by old elites, old white men who were elites, and they weren't great people. But you know what? Um, but they were great people because they knew they didn't know everything, and that's why our constitution is a living document. In that, if something changes, then we change the Constitution accordingly, and it's a living document. You know, they knew 300, 250 years ago or so that they can't imagine everything that's going to be coming up in the future. So they built in something that into our founding papers, you know, our founding documents, to where things can be changed. They separated, you know, different powers. They made the president um, uh, a servant to the people, uh, not royalty, right? Not royalty. No matter how many bombs the president can do, they still have to answer to the people. We need a better House of Representatives. I don't mean the numbers. I just mean the people. There seems to be this this impression by politicians that unless they get something that they're demanding, they won't vote for something, even though it may be the best thing for the American people. I don't believe that we have the most intelligent people in our House and our Senate. There's a lot of intelligent people there, and they all know more about the government workings than I do. But I like this idea of bringing people from the outside, non-politicians. Well, whoever said that a politician has to run our government? You know, I'm hearing people, you know, complain and whine about some of the things that Elon's done, for instance, in trying to cut down the costs. And they talk about how complex their job is, and the hard work that they do, and that's bullshit. I mean, it is. I don't I don't I don't see how they get away with that from the American people still. And the only way I can imagine it that it happens is that they're only listening to one set of news media and not getting a whole picture, or not getting the real information. I've literally seen examples on a station where they say something and it's absolutely a lie, completely BS a lie. And I think we can say that about a lot of things now. Um, that 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 the media has gotten so arrogant that they literally justify themselves at flat out lying. I mean, everybody called Trump a fascist and all these evil, he's the next Hitler and da 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 da. They were just pounding on him like last time. And then more than half the American, he won the electoral vote, which that's what you got to do to win the presidency, and he won the popular vote. So more people, it's not like 10 million and 30 million or something like that. It's much tighter numbers, and it always has been, and will be. But I don't know how we're letting the American media, the news. You guys are way too kind. The new. I don't know why we let the news get away with what they're doing. I mean, that's why I came up with this idea of watch party, or something along that line, because as Denise and I talk, and the guy I had on Barron on the last show, those are both left-leaning folks, but we can talk about the politics because I'm fairly educated on this, and I know enough to make a conversation, but when we talk, we're friends. we're not attacking each other. We're all in American citizens. We're all here to have a great nation. We're all here to build our lives. We're all here to build our families. The generation now is having babies left and right. I think they're going to be bigger than my generation. You know, the uh, the guys that started the wealth, the current wealth of this nation. And I think this generation is going to have more people in it, meaning more people are buying more things, which means you need to make more stuff. You know, the whole cycle of our economic system. And then you have another small group that's kind of bizarre, to be honest with you. I mean, they hate America, but they live here. So I don't get how that computes. I don't get how you can justify just opening up our borders, and that's happening all over the world. The lady that I have interviewed from Sweden, Kiki, she says, you know, it's every bit as bad in her country as it is here and as it is in the UK. And, you know, there's something happening that's going on that is a concern, because why is it happening? And then why are we all letting it happen? Now the governments around the world are changing to become more populist, because everybody around the world is sick and tired of this. But anyway, I just wanted to step in and say hello, wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Take a moment, start looking at the facts of what news media states. Take a look at the differing views from each side of the aisle of what is said and what is factual or not factual. You owe it to the founding fathers, just like I do, to be responsible about our voting and about our interest in a politician or not. These are things that need to really get into the spotlight, and so that people really look at what's going on. And it, you know, a watch party can be like a social media thing, or, you know, or something like this channel, you know, where we all come together and pick at the points of what's there. What the middle class is filled, is made up of a bunch of really smart people. I mean, let's face it, the American people have a range of education, but we're pretty damn capable of thinking and evaluating and telling them what we need to do. You know, we used to be building things and creating things, and we used to stand up for what's right and fight against what's wrong. And, you know, we had missions. We sent people to space, and we did amazing things to get us to where we are now. We need to be that again. You know, the generations that follow and are here now need to be more responsible. You know, it doesn't take a lot of time out of your life to be knowledgeable about electors, you know, people running for election. It doesn't take a lot. But what happens, just like this last bill, what was the first one, like 1,500 pages? I think Elon put out a tweet that showed a table. You know, the one pile of paperwork was probably 8 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches tall, maybe more than that. And then that did not pass. And then the next one didn't pass. And the third one is 116 or 120 pages. I forget which is which. And the reason they do that is they make it so complex that they build in all these perks, this pork. And that needs to stop. To create a document doesn't need to be 1,500 pages. We need to have this that needs to be paid for. We need to have this that needs to be paid for. We need to have this that needs to be paid for. And that's it. There's some regulations, there's some other things that people want to see in there, but they're only doing it to increase their own power, their own party's power. It seems like it's like somebody was saying, they wait till the last second and then, create this alarm bells, that the world is going to end if we don't get this thing passed by now, right now. We've had like 70 shutdowns of the government since the beginning of time, or partial shutdowns. But I'm hoping that more and more people start to realize, the people calling Trump all these evil names now are on his side, or the world leaders are coming to actual leadership and responding to that. He's been in office before, and he didn't take over and become a dictator then. He was hammered the first time around. That was horrible. Here's a guy, and I don't think he's a great person necessarily in certain ways, and I think he's an awesome person in certain. Just the fact of how he has his family react and be with him, that says a lot about a man when his family and the generations of family. And yeah, he's a president. Yes, he's a billionaire. But I've seen other families that don't act like that. These guys are pretty. Every one of them are pretty. Guy or girl, it's kind of weird there, but they are admiring. They are appreciative. The granddaughters love their grandpa, and grandpa loves them. And that's a showing of a man, a man and a wife, a man and a woman. But specifically in this case, you can really see what somebody's like when, the old adage, when nobody's looking, how do you act? And I've seen people that have come out that it was never advertised, but Trump has done all these things. And most people are starting to discover that these lies are, and they are. It's not because I admire Trump or anything like that, but he's the only one that's telling this story that we believe he's going to do the things for the American people that need to be done. And I think that's about it. I can ramble on forever on these subjects, but I just want to get on here and say, come on, guys, let's start thinking rational. Let's start being serious. Let's start being grown-ups in the room, and really look at what we want for leadership in each election. There's going to be a election coming up in 2 years, right? The midterm elections where some of the House and Senate will be voted in or out again. So there's going to be some changes, whether it's more people support Trump or some people want some backstop to what he wants to do. But I'm just thrilled. It's like Reagan said, trust, but verify. And I don't see that anywhere in the news media. And with that, I'm going to hang up here. I'm going to let you all go and go about your day and enjoy your day. My friends in California were upset because it was only 60 degrees yesterday, and I'm looking out my window in the snowstorm. So it's all relational, right? It's all depends on what your view is. So I love you guys, man. I love doing this. It's something that I think is important. I'm getting in trouble with my factory guys because I'm doing a lot more of this marketing than I used to do for my equipment. So I'm starting to do the equipment stuff again and really build on that. But please subscribe to the channel, and come in and come and have some conversations with us. You know, we don't have a show unless we have uh, back and forth, and so I'm still going to be bringing on the different guests who have expertise in certain areas, but I like these comments. I'd like to see more comments about what you want to talk about, or a comment of a point uh, that you know of, or seen, or curious about, and asking that question so that I can relate it to on the thought analysis gives me a let's see, your thought analysis gives me a lot to ponder this Christmas season. Thank you. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much, Cyrus Hills. Thank you very much for your guys' support and your coming on to this channel. We've grown a lot in the last few months as we've started this. I've done other. I have an Insights, which I'm rolling into this. That Insights was just about the industrial markets. So I'm going to be talking more and more about the industrial markets as well. But I just want to say, everybody, take this seriously. Take a look at what's happening, and listen to the words that people say, not the words that media, the talking heads, spin to make it sound one way or the other. I'm Rod Duff. This is Insights and Straight Talk, signing off. We're an IMS company, independent media source, or on the machinery side, it stands for machinery cells. I'm going blank, but I'm gonna sign off, and I've been babbling long enough, I think. And we got to talk about what's going on with these drones and the things that are going on there. Barbie, producer Barbie, she's in California too. She said yesterday was the worst of all the days. They're just piling on. I showed you guys a little video clip of it last time. I think maybe I'll do one or two more shows before the new year, and I want to focus on that. And so with that, have a great day. Say hi to somebody, wave to somebody. Let's get the American people connecting with the American people. You should know your neighbors. You should have a good vibe with your neighbors, right? Not everybody sees eye to eye on everything, but everybody's, at the end of the day, everybody wants the same things out of life. All right, my friends. Bye for now.